Dr. Rudy, Provost Callahan, Dean Stephen, faculty, guests, and most importantly, my fellow graduates. Before I start my speech, I just wanted to start by thanking my family for all of their support, especially my mom, who made a lot of sacrifices for me to be on this stage today. Thank you. So when I was a kid, like most kids, I didn't know that I wanted to study business, and I had limited exposure to what it even meant to be a business person. In those days, my family and I had this tradition where every New Year's Day, we'd watch these comedies from the 30s that starred the Marx Brothers. Their movies tended to satirize business people, and one of the main characters in these films was named Groucho. He had these crazy thick eyebrows and this big mustache, and he was the prime example of how not to behave in the business world. Groucho would frequently say things like, "The secret of success is honesty and fair dealing. If you can fake those, you've got it made." Or my personal favorite, "No man goes before his time, unless the boss leaves early." Suffice it to say, our university's commitment to teaching ethics and social responsibility has ensured that we have not become a graduating class of Grouchos, and it's one of the major reasons why my classmates and I are very proud that we'll be calling Loyola our alma mater today. Our professors have helped us develop the competencies in order to be outstanding leaders with a strong sense of integrity. In Theodora Bryan's ethics class, a class I think about almost every day, we learned about why ethical leaders and stakeholder strategies play such an important role in the long-term survival of companies. In John Caltagironi's Global Logistics course, we learned how important it is for business leaders to maintain visibility throughout the whole supply chain. He taught us that in an increasingly globalized world, it has become even more critical that we select business partners that have high ethical standards. I'll be honest, we're entering a world that is faced with many daunting challenges. Over the last several years alone, on the corporate side, we've seen numerous examples of unethical business leadership. We've seen consumers become the victims of many forms of corporate corruption and negligence, including massive fraud in the financial sector, the lack of protection of user data by social media platforms, and big pharma companies charging unbelievably high prices for life-saving drugs. A story broke last year about a very powerful pharmaceutical company that bought the rights to EpiPens. EpiPens are devices about so big that are used to delay the effects of a fatal allergic reaction. The pharmaceutical company called Mylan that acquired the rights to EpiPen over the course of 5 years raised the prices of these life-saving devices by 509%. What are the chances that financially struggling families can afford them, now that the price per package has gone up to $608? And though this is shocking, similar stories of corporate corruption are all too common. Our country has also experienced significant changes in legislation in the wake of the new administration, which will certainly impact the domestic and international business environments. We've witnessed the repeal of the Equal Pay Rule, which required companies of 100 employees or more to report worker incomes by race, gender, and ethnicity. This rule was meant to reduce pay disparities, and it's gone. This lack of pay transparency is particularly alarming because we also live in an era where employees have to fear retaliation if they tell their salary level to their coworkers. How could we solve this issue if we can't have open conversations about it? We've seen the weakening of the Volcker Rule and the Dodd-Frank Act, which placed major regulations in the financial industry to the purpose of protecting consumers and preventing another financial crash like the one that occurred in 2008. These regulations have prevented banks from engaging in abusive lending and mortgage practices, and have required financial advisors to act in the best interests of their clients. Our country is one of 3 in the entire world that will not participate in the Paris Climate Agreement as of 2020, whose purpose is to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and we are the 2nd largest emitter of gas emissions on the planet. All these factors and the use of misinformation have been used to undermine the well-being of our families, diverse communities, and our Jesuit traditions of caring for the poor and the weak. But Quinlan has prepared us for this world in a way that no other institution could have, with a strong emphasis on excellence, social responsibility, and grace under pressure. In the absence of these government regulations and the abundance of corporate corruption, we as business leaders can bridge the gap that is forming and hold our teams and organizations accountable to a set of ethical standards. We'll be able to shape organizational cultures so they are diverse and collaborative, and implement policies that promote equal pay. Our professors, who in many instances have become our close mentors, have inspired us to think bravely and to discern the difference between making the popular decision and the right one. Today, we're graduating at an extraordinary time in our country's history, and this is our moment to make a difference. Congratulations, class of 2018.
Chicago by the state of Illinois, and delegated to me by the Board of Trustees of this university, I confer upon you the master's degrees for which you have been recommended. As a sign of your new academic status, please don your hoods. Congratulations!
Demi Giannaras, Megan Gergitz, Andra Grisia, Paula Gutierrez, Jeffrey Hawthorne, George Botras Samuel Henry, Colin Horan, Kyler Jacobs, Jessica Jeffries, Juliette Christine Jesser, Sophia Kalini, Gerline Kampor, Ebru Carapina, Lillian Kargas, Colin Clems, Matthew Collar,